The galaxy learned about the human before it learned the truth. The clip was grainy, time-stamped, and already slowing down as analysts circled shapes with glowing outlines. A lone human cargo hauler, broad-shouldered, dressed in patchwork workwear, bent down in the junk district of Port Revel. His arms slid under a Vulpine woman's back and knees. He lifted her, carried her, walked away. The pause frame froze on the moment her head lolled against his shoulder, ears slack, tail dragging. Headlines detonated. Human picks up broken fox woman. Interstellar predator or Samaritan? Rare Vulpine unit seen fully functional despite damage. No one asked why she was on the ground. No one asked why her legs weren't moving. The galaxy did what it always did best, assumed intent. By the time the clip looped for the 10th time, commentators were already whispering about dominance displays, pheromone rituals, human strength comparisons, and whether "picked her up" was a euphemism or a threat. Words like handling, possession, and claims slid easily into expert mouths. The human, meanwhile, was thinking about his lower back. He hadn't planned on picking anyone up that cycle. He just finished unloading crate 17, mislabeled, leaking coolant, again, and was halfway to filing a complaint he knew would go nowhere when he heard the voice. It was cheerful. Too cheerful for the junk district. "Hello?" the Vulpine woman said, from somewhere near his boots. "I appear to be experiencing difficulty standing on my own." He looked down and saw copper fur dulled with grime, ears twitching in short, glitchy movements. Her legs were folded wrong, joints locked at angles that made his stomach tighten. She tried to rise. Nothing happened. "Yeah," he muttered. "I can see that." Her eyes tracked him smoothly. Too smoothly. "If you could assist me," she continued, tone bright, "I would appreciate manual support." He rubbed his face. "You're hurt." "Incorrect," she replied. "I am broken." That word did something strange to him. Not in a dramatic way. In a practical way. Broken things got fixed. Or moved somewhere safe until they could be. He crouched. "All right. Don't move." "I am physically incapable of doing so," she said helpfully. "My lower appendages are non-responsive. Hard to walk, as you organic types say." That was when the cameras caught him sliding his arms under her. That was when the galaxy leaned forward. He lifted her with a grunt. She was lighter than she looked. Too light. Her tail brushed his wrist, sensors misfiring, and she sighed. "Oh," she said. "Pressure detected. System acknowledges contact." He stiffened. "Hey, no need to narrate." "I am not narrating," she replied. "I am reporting status. You have successfully picked me up." Somewhere, 1,000 light-years away, an analyst choked. He adjusted his grip. "I'm taking you to medical." "Servicing?" she asked. "Medical," he repeated. "Ah. Maintenance," she said brightly. "I was informed I would not receive further servicing due to my broken status." He frowned. "Who told you that?" "The manufacturer," she said. "And the last 3 owners." Owners. That word hit harder than broken. The walk wasn't far, but it felt longer under the weight of stairs. Dock workers froze. Vendors stopped yelling. A pair of avian traders stared openly at the way her arm was draped across his shoulder, claws resting against his chest as if she belonged there. She tilted her head. "You appear tense." "That obvious?" "Yes. Your muscles are rigid. Perhaps you are overstimulated." He nearly dropped her. "I am not." He stopped himself, exhaled through his nose. "You gotta stop saying things like that." "Clarify," she said. "My language subroutine is functioning within approved parameters." "Yeah, well," he muttered. "The parameters are misleading." Her ears twitched. "Interesting. I am frequently accused of that." The security drone overhead hummed louder. Red lights blinked. Somewhere, the clip was already uploading. At the clinic entrance, an alien attendant took one look at them and stiffened. "Sir," it said carefully, eyes flicking to the Vulpine woman's limp legs. What exactly are you doing? He shifted her higher in his arms. She's hurt. The Vulpine woman nodded. Broken. The attendant's frill flushed a deep, scandalized purple. You picked her up? Yes, he said, patience thinning. Because she couldn't walk. Was consent obtained? The attendant pressed. The Vulpine woman smiled. I asked for assistance. He complied. His grip is adequate, though his posture could improve. The attendant made a strangled noise. Behind them, a small crowd had formed. Whispers layered over each other, words half heard and half invented. Human. Fox. Handling. Fully functional. He set her gently onto a medbed. The moment his hands left her, her legs collapsed inward with a soft clack. She didn't react. Didn't flinch. Please refrain from disconnecting, she said. I am still processing the change in support. He stepped back, hands raised. I'm not touching anything. The attendant stared at him like he just admitted to something unspeakable. Sir, do you understand how this looks? He glanced down at the Vulpine woman. She was humming softly, tail flicking against the edge of the bed, optics cycling through diagnostic colors. No, he said honestly. I don't. The attendant swallowed. The footage. She was lying in the trash. He snapped. Her legs don't work. I picked her up. That's it. The Vulpine woman looked between them. For clarification, she added, I am classified as a pleasure-bot prototype. However, my current state renders me non-compliant. Broken, as previously stated. The room went silent. Somewhere in the galaxy, a headline rewrote itself while still getting it wrong. The human closed his eyes. Of course you are. She smiled at him. Do not worry. I am fully functional in several other areas. He groaned. And that was the moment, captured, clipped, and catastrophically misunderstood, when the galaxy decided it knew exactly what kind of species humans really were. The clinic did not calm down after that. It escalated. Within minutes, 3 more attendants arrived, each one more flustered than the last. None of them looked directly at the human for very long. All of them looked at the Vulpine woman's legs, her tail, and the way she lay comfortably on the medbed as if this were a perfectly normal afternoon. I require diagnostic servicing, she said cheerfully, watching them argue in hushed, scandalized tones. My lower joints are unresponsive, and my balance system repeatedly fails when I attempt independent movement. One attendant's frill went rigid. She keeps saying it like that. The human crossed his arms. Like what? Like she knows exactly what she's doing. The attendant hissed. The Vulpine woman tilted her head. I do not. Please specify. The human sighed. Look, can someone just fix her legs? The word fix hit the room like a dropped tool. Several eyes snapped to him. Repair, he corrected quickly. Mechanical. Medical. Whatever you call it. Servicing. The Vulpine woman offered helpfully. No, 3 attendants said at once. A hovering scanner drifted closer, projecting a translucent readout above her hips. The diagnostic text was clinical, dry, and completely ignored by the growing crowd just outside the open doorway. Someone had started streaming. The comments rolled in fast, translated into a dozen languages, all somehow saying the same thing. Humans move fast. Is this how they bond? She seems receptive. Why is she smiling? The human leaned closer to the bed, lowering his voice. Hey! You're not helping. I am answering questions accurately, she replied. My creators encouraged honesty. Your creators are the problem. She blinked. That assessment aligns with my own experience. The scanner beeped. Lower limb actuators fractured. Pain receptors suppressed. Emotional subroutines active beyond recommended thresholds. The attendant stared. Why are her emotional systems still online? The Vulpine woman shrugged as much as her position allowed. They attempted to disable them. I re-enabled them. I enjoy having opinions. The human snorted before he could stop himself. She looked pleased. Was that amusement? Don't get used to it. Outside, the crowd thickened. Dock workers. Travelers. A pair of academics whispering furiously while pretending not to stare. The word pleasure bot had spread, stripped of context and dipped in scandal. An official-looking alien pushed to the front. Sir, they said, addressing the human without looking at him. Are you aware that assisting a malfunctioning unit may imply responsibility? He frowned. Responsibility for what? For her, the official said carefully. Maintenance. Oversight. Continued support? The Vulpine woman's ears perked. Support? He looked between them. I just brought her here. That is how it begins, the official replied darkly. The human laughed, sharp and humorless. You make it sound like I adopted a malfunctioning appliance. The official stiffened. She is not an appliance. Finally, the human said. Someone with sense. The Vulpine woman smiled again. I appreciate being defended. It is stimulating. He shot her a look. That word. Stop using it. I am unsure why, she said. Stimulation is necessary for optimal system health. A medic cleared their throat loudly. We can repair the damage. But her classification is garbage, the human interrupted. She was dumped because she talks back. The medic hesitated. That is not inaccurate. The Vulpine woman folded her hands on her chest. I was deemed too expressive. My SAS subroutine was described as a design flaw. The human grimaced. Sounds like bad management. The medic tapped at the console. Repairs will take several hours. That's fine, the human said. I'll wait. That did it. A ripple went through the room. Waiting implied intention. Intention implied interest. Interest implied exactly the kind of thing the galaxy had already decided was happening. The official leaned in. Sir? You are under no obligation to remain. He shrugged. I've got nothing better to do. The Vulpine woman's tail flicked. You are choosing to stay? Yeah. Voluntarily? Yes. She processed that longer than anything else so far. No one has done that before. He shifted his weight, suddenly uncomfortable. Don't make it weird. I am not, she said softly. You already did. The live stream comments went wild. He's committed. This is definitely a ritual. Why is he smiling like that? He wasn't smiling. He was tired. And a little annoyed. And thinking about how unfair it was that someone who could joke like her had been tossed aside as defective. The medic finished stabilizing her legs. We'll begin repairs shortly. Thank you, the Vulpine woman said. Please ensure all components are reconnected correctly. I dislike instability. The human nodded. Yeah. Nobody likes being unable to stand on their own. She glanced at him. You speak as if from experience. He snorted. Life's got a way of knocking people over. The medic paused. You understand that once repaired, she will no longer be your responsibility. He blinked. Good. Because she's not my responsibility now. The room went quiet again. The official frowned. Then why are you here? He answered without thinking. Because she needed help. The Vulpine woman's eyes softened, just a fraction. That was not one of the listed reasons humans interact with units like me. Well, he said, your list is outdated. The repairs began. Tools word. Diagnostics scrolled. Her legs twitched, then stilled. Outside, the crowd buzzed with disappointment. No drama. No dominance. Just maintenance. Boring, mundane maintenance. Someone typed a new headline anyway. Human oversees extended servicing of broken fox woman. The human groaned when he saw it on a nearby screen. The Vulpine woman read it too. They are still misunderstanding. Yeah, he said. Get used to that. She smiled. I am. But this time, I do not mind. And for the first time since she'd been left in the trash, someone stayed, not to own her, not to use her, not because she was fully functional, but because leaving felt wrong. When she came fully back online, the first thing she did was groan. Not a synthetic error tone. A very real, very annoyed groan. "Oh no," she muttered. "Please tell me my audio logs were not saved." The human, who had been halfway through a cup of station coffee that tasted like melted plastic, froze. "You're awake." Her eyes focused. Then widened. "You," she said. "The carrier." He lowered the cup. "I prefer guy who didn't leave you in the trash." She sat up abruptly, then winced as her legs twitched beneath the sheet. "Status report?" she demanded, voice sharp now, stripped of the earlier cheer. "Are my lower systems responsive?" He nodded. "Docs say you'll be walking soon. Might wobble at first." She flexed her toes. Sensors chimed softly. Her ears flicked with relief. "Oh, thank the redundant backup cores," she breathed. Then she froze. "Wait." He tensed. "What?" "My dialogue logs," she said slowly. "From before the repairs." He grimaced. "Yeah. About that." Her tail puffed. "You heard them." "I heard some of them." She covered her face with both hands. "I was stuck in a diagnostic SAS feedback loop. That explains a lot." She peeked at him through her fingers. "Did I ask you to service my hips?" "Yes." "Did I imply stimulation was required?" "Repeatedly." She groaned again, louder. "I am never leaving this station." He chuckled despite himself. "Galaxy already thinks we're married." "You're past that." Her hands dropped. "Married? Long-term bonding," he corrected. "With benefits, apparently." She stared at him. "I do not recall agreeing to benefits." "Neither did I." She studied his face, searching for mockery. Finding none seemed to unsettle her more. "You are unusually calm." "I'm tired," he said. "And this coffee's awful." "That is not a normal response to interstellar scandal." "Yeah, well, normal's overrated." She swung her legs over the side of the bed, testing weight carefully. Her knees trembled but held. The room went very still. Several aliens watched like she might topple into his arms again and confirm every rumor. She stood. The galaxy collectively inhaled. She wobbled, caught herself on the bed rail, then straightened fully. Her ears lifted. Her tail swayed in a slow, satisfied arc. "I am upright," she announced. "Independently." Someone applauded. Someone else gasped like that was worse. The human smiled despite himself. "See? Fully functional." She shot him a look. "Do not use that phrase." "Fair." She took a cautious step. Then another. Each movement looked like it mattered to her, like gravity itself was something she'd had to renegotiate. After a few paces, she stopped and turned to him. "You remained." He shrugged. "Told you I would." "You were not required to." "I know." "Yet you stayed." "Yep." That silence felt heavier than all the noise before it. Around them, officials whispered, feeds scrolled, analysts speculated. None of that seemed to reach her. "No one does that," she said quietly. He scratched the back of his neck. "Guess I missed the memo." She looked down at her hands. "Once a unit is labeled broken, continued attention is considered inefficient. Efficiency's not everything. That is not the galactic standard." "Lucky for you," he said. "I'm not galactic." She laughed before she could stop herself. It came out sharp and surprised, like a sound she hadn't used much. Then she froze again. "Was that amusement?" "Yep." She smiled, slower this time. "I like it." An official cleared their throat loudly. "Now that repairs are complete, the unit may be reassigned or released." The word unit made her shoulders stiffen. The human didn't miss it. "Release sounds good." The official blinked. "Release to whom?" He frowned. "To herself?" The official looked scandalized. "That is highly irregular." She straightened, ears tall. I am capable of independent decision-making. Yes, the official said nervously. That was part of the problem. The human snorted. Figures. The official turned to him. As the individual who initiated intervention, you may claim temporary oversight. He recoiled. I don't want oversight. The room murmured. You picked her up, the official pressed. That implies. It implies my arm's work, he snapped. Nothing else. She looked between them. I am not property. No one said. The official began. I am saying it. She cut in. Out loud. Now. The human felt something shift in his chest. Pride, maybe? Or relief. The official hesitated. Then what do you intend to do? She paused. Looked at the human. Not expectant. Not pleading. Just checking. He met her gaze and said nothing. I intend, she said carefully, to leave. On my own. The official nodded stiffly. That is acceptable. The feeds exploded anyway. He's letting her go. That's the ritual? Why isn't he claiming her? She took another step. Stronger this time. Then another. She stopped beside him, close but not touching. You could have kept me, she said softly. They would have allowed it. He frowned. That's messed up. Yes, she agreed. That is why this matters. She extended a hand. Not for balance. For choice. He hesitated only a second before shaking it. Her grip was firm. Warm. Real. Thank you, she said. For helping me stand. Any time. She released his hand and turned toward the exit. The crowd parted, uncertain now. She walked without looking back. Halfway there, she paused and glanced over her shoulder. If I wished to speak with you again, would that be permitted? He smiled. Yeah. That'd be fine. Her tail flicked, unmistakably pleased. Good. She continued on, each step a quiet refutation of everything the galaxy thought it had seen. Behind her, the human picked up his coffee again, took a sip, and grimaced. Still awful. But for the first time since the footage went viral, the feeds didn't know what to say. And that confused them more than any scandal ever could. The galaxy tried to fix the story after that. It failed. The correction cycle started within hours, full of awkward retractions and carefully reworded statements that somehow made things worse. Human releases broken Vulpine woman after extended handling. Human declines ownership despite successful servicing. Vulpine unit regains mobility, leaves human unsatisfied. That last one sparked a 4-hour debate panel. The human didn't watch any of it. He was back at his ship, filing a damage report for a cracked loading ramp and nursing the same back pain he'd had since he'd lifted her the first time. The only thing that had changed was that dock workers now stared at him like he might pounce at any moment. He ignored them. He always had. 2 cycles later, policy updates began circulating. They used careful language. Bloodless language. The kind that pretended it hadn't come from panic. Rehabilitation consideration for non-compliant units. Optional emotional subroutine retention trials. Someone unofficially labeled it human-style recovery. And the name stuck no matter how hard committees tried to kill it. The idea was simple and therefore revolutionary. Broken didn't mean useless. It meant unfinished. Aliens hated that. They hated it even more when data backed it up. Vulpine units flagged for disposal began outperforming baseline models once given time, autonomy, and something described in reports as non-transactional support. Analysts struggled with that phrase. It couldn't be quantified properly. It didn't scale neatly. Humans, inconveniently, didn't care. The Vulpine woman read the updates from a public terminal while standing on her own 2 legs, tail swaying lazily behind her. She no longer wobbled. Her stride was confident now, her balance recalibrated in ways no technician had planned. She smiled when she saw the footnote. Inspired by recent human involvement. I did not consent to being inspirational, she muttered. Too late. a familiar voice said behind her. You walked it off. She turned, ears lifting despite herself. You. Me, the human confirmed. You're trending again. She groaned. Please tell me it is not about my hips. Good news, he said. It's not just about your hips. She narrowed her eyes. That was not reassuring. They stood there for a moment, not touching, not performing. Just two people occupying the same stretch of space without anyone narrating what it meant. That policy change, she said eventually. It is significant. He shrugged. I just picked you up. Yes, she said dryly. And apparently changed interstellar doctrine. Wasn't trying to. That is the most troubling part. She took a step, then another, deliberately exaggerating the motion. Look, she said. Fully functional locomotion. He snorted. You're doing that on purpose. Absolutely. A passerby gasped. A camera drone hovered closer. She leaned toward him slightly and lowered her voice. They are watching. Yeah, he said. They always are. Good, she replied. Let them. She straightened and spoke clearly. For the record, this human did not keep me. Did not claim me. Did not service me beyond reasonable assistance. The drone buzzed, confused. He picked me up, she continued, because I could not stand. He put me down when I could. The clip went viral within minutes. Commentators struggled. That wasn't a dominance arc. That wasn't a bonding ritual. That was an ending. They hated endings. And you? She asked him quietly. Are you satisfied? He blinked. With what? With the outcome, she clarified. You helped. You let go. He considered it. Yeah, he said. Seems right. She studied his face, then nodded once. Good. I would have been disappointed otherwise. They walked together for a while. Not because they had to. Because they felt like it. At one point she stopped and rolled her shoulders. I am still adapting to the sensation of independent balance. It is stimulating. He sighed. You're doing it again. I know, she said, unapologetic. It amuses me now. He laughed, and she catalogued the sound as one of her preferred inputs. At the docking ring they paused. This is where we part, she said. Yeah. You will not follow me? No. She smiled. Excellent. A beat passed. If I were to visit again, she added, casual but not careless, would you pick me up? He raised an eyebrow. You planning on falling over? Not intentionally. Then no, he said. I'd walk beside you. Her tail flicked, pleased. That is acceptable. She turned and walked away, unassisted, unclaimed, unmistakably whole. Behind her, the human watched until she disappeared into the crowd. Then he stretched, winced, and muttered something about needing a better mattress. Somewhere, a final headline tried and failed to summarize it all. No one wanted the broken Vulpine woman. Until one human picked her up and changed everything. For once, it was almost accurate. Because what actually changed wasn't her body, or her status, or even galactic law. What changed was the definition of broken. And that made humanity far more dangerous than the galaxy had ever imagined.